taught me that, and yeah, I still never wanted to touch cocaine as using it, but I was smoking pot. I was doing other things like acid, occasionally, whatever, things like that. And then, yeah, I got into a bunch of different substances. I was into crystal meth in Kelowna for a long time. Um, that started when I was like 18, going on until I was like, I still haven't gotten off of that one, but I have quit for a while.
So what's your current DOC then?
It's still the one that I was born addicted to was crack cocaine.
Okay.
My dad was freebasing cocaine. In the 70s, it was so good that they didn't know what buff was. So
Do you use it down right now too?
yeah, I got addicted to the opioids when I was in the hospital for cellulitis.
Mm-hmm.
And it could get pretty bad, the pain from it and everything. And I've had it like 11 times now. But after the fourth time, the antibiotics that they use can kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody told me this. So yeah, I found out about the eighth time that I had cellulitis that the antibiotics can kill you.
Mm-hmm.
My doctor finally came in and says, "Well, what do you want us to do if you die on the table?" And I'm like, "Die on the table? Do not resuscitate, of course." And yeah, so I basically use all substances in that sense. There are some substances I haven't tried yet, like MDMA, I mean not MDMA, like PCP or
I've never
mescaline.
even seen those ones around then.
Yeah, you don't hear much of that around here,
No,
but I do.
So you still use side?
Of course I do.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the ones, but it's kind of funny because I was being diagnosed with ADD, ADHD. Generally, the most common medication given is Ritalin, which clinical name is methylphenidate,
Mm-hmm.
and the meth part of methyl is the same as crystal meth.
Yeah, that's right.
It's clinical speed, which means I don't actually get high off of stuff.
It just calms you down.
Yeah, it calms me down, allows me to focus a little bit, right? And because it is what the Germans call super soldier serum,
Mm-hmm.
it allows you to withstand more just cold, hunger problems like not eating, not being able to have adequate diet and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It helps with that. So
Do you just smoke it, or do you
yeah,
use
I
needles?
basically smoke everything. I used to use needles when I was a young kid, but I lost the interest in it. It was never my thing. It was always more smoke.
Yeah.
So yeah, I smoke right now with my habits. I'm smoking marijuana,
Mm-hmm.
preferably the extract in hand. It comes out really potent. I've always been a pothead. I'll die a pothead, I think. But I also use opioids because I got addicted in the hospital, like you said.
Now you just use it to not get sick, right?
Pardon?
You use it just to not be sick anymore?
There's times where I use it a little bit more than that. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the 7 rock, they call it a 7 or a number 7. That's down with crack.
Okay.
I do those occasionally, and then I also do K-Rock, which is ketamine, and crack, and sometimes I go as far as putting a 7 rock with ketamine rock.
So it's like a speedball.
So,
right?
yeah, sort of like a speedball, but I call it my AK-47.
Okay.
Because it really messes you up really good. But yeah, it's ketamine down and crack, so it's quite the experience.
That's quite the mix, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've never did speedballs, and that's like crystal meth, heroin, and crack, or cocaine, so, you know, I have done speedballs too, but in a different form, I guess.
Yeah.
Different name.
Dylan, have you ever overdosed?
Twice. Once it was an accident, and then the other time it was intentional. I wanted to die. I took two points of pure carfentanil and smoked it all in one hit.
That's,
And
That's very honest of you. It's hard to admit that
they
shit,
they
man.
found me. 45 minutes it took them to find me. I was wedged between the toilet and the tub, green and foaming at the mouth. And then I don't know how long it took for the first responders to show up, but they narcaned me. I think it was 3 times they came back. And I'm like, why did most people they come to and it's like, oh, it had to be something else, or they start saying it's some other thing, or it was an accident, or this, that. And pardon my language, but I said, the first words out of my mouth is, what the fuck did you do? I was there. I was at peace. I was calm. I was done. I was there. And you brought me back, you fuckers, right? I was mad because I had no problems. I had no worries. I had nothing. But those death experiences, you hear people say they see this bright light and they feel this warmth.
How was it like for you?
It wasn't that way. I felt the warmth that they say, but I never seen any bright light. It was darkness. And I have a theory on that because the type of person I am now, I've saved a lot of lives from overdoses and things like that. And I actually generally do care about other people. I'm a light. That's why I seen darkness, because it feels the light. When it looks out, what does it see? It doesn't see the light, it sees the darkness, right?
I like that. That's an awesome theory, man. You lost friends to overdose.
Yeah. I lost quite a few, but ones that really meant the most to me, when he went by, his nickname was Jesus. I had saved him many times. We would basically, I was before I was homeless and was in the shelter at the Travel Lodge before they opened that up. His name was Jared, his real name, but he thought he was Jesus Christ, and he'd go around there. And I told him he's not Jesus. I'm more Jesus than he is. But actually, I go by the nickname Demon. And it's kind of ironic because I've saved 76 lives. So I've saved 76 souls. I didn't collect them like a demon should, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of ironic. But yeah, his really got to me because I was in rehab. And
So you weren't there to
I
help
wasn't
him.
there, yeah.
That was actually going to be my next follow-up question. I'm sorry about your loss, man.
Okay.
Yeah. It's tough to lose people like that in your life. Speaking from experience as well. Yeah, the list keeps growing, man, unfortunately.
Yeah. They say there's at least 100 or so that go a day in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Cranbrook, it's occasionally there's one that goes, but if I'm around, they're alive. They're still alive afterwards. They don't go. I don't let them.
Maybe that's your purpose, man. You know.
I don't know. The first one that I saved was probably the hardest one. Well, this is like after I came back from rehab. I'm not talking about Jared or any of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
But since I came back from rehab, in the last 4 months here, I've saved 76 people from dying from overdose. And the first one I won't forget because he had a Narcan kit hanging off of his hip, but it was a shaving kit. He had a Narcan kit in the bottom of his backpack, and he's like, "Oh, it's in my bag." After I talked to him after he got out of the hospital and everything, but I couldn't find a Narcan kit, and I'm like, "You idiot!" So I had to give him CPR and breathe for him for 45 minutes till the first responders got there. I kept him alive.
That's traumatic. Bro.
Yeah, and then the building behind us is where the actual first responders that came for him were from.
Yeah.
And the guy for overdoses, he'll tell everybody, even you, if you ask him, that he's alive because of me.
Of course he is.
There was nobody else. There was nothing else. He would be dead.
You'd have the serious brain damage too for 45 minutes with no air.
Yeah, I breathed for him. I basically, because I know I have my industrial first aid and everything, or I had it. It's expired now, but I know that you do CPR for a baby differently than you do for an adult.
Yeah.
And I did CPR for a baby for him because I didn't want to break his sternum and all that, because I felt that he's weak. really weak.
He was frail?
Yeah, he was very frail, and I could feel it. So I started treating him as if it was a baby, so I wouldn't
destroy all of his ribs.
Yeah, and none of them were broken or anything. I did a good job. Actually,
crazy, bro.
They've never, hallelujah, Jesus.
Man, it sounds like maybe this is your calling, man, you know, but
I don't know.
you said you were in treatment just a few seconds
I
ago.
went
So have you
once.
tried to get clean, you know?
I did, actually, I did get clean, but that was a hard one because my support system when I got out is basically Pocket Rehab, and that's an app on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime, anywhere, you can get into a meeting or whatever, but it's not the same. I think that everywhere anybody gets out of rehab, you need to have a home meeting spaces. You need to have any group in your community. There isn't any specific any groups in this community, which is sad and is very disappointing. Sorry about the sirens, folks.
No, it's not your fault.
Might be another overdose. Who knows? You never know.
Very well could be.
Hopefully it isn't, because I'm here doing this interview and not flying around saving another life. I don't actually fly, but yeah.
You could be potentially saving someone's life right now, over and over and over with this interview, my friend.
But maybe this might actually save somebody's life. This video, this interview, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely.
Think twice about that hit. You know, I have a hard time. I wake up every morning, not wanting to, but I find myself using. It is very hard. This town is a lot of bigots that look down on people that use. You don't see the human being inside.
Yeah, we're all equal, bro. We're all humans, man.
Yeah, some of us just have a lot more pain that we're dealing with.
Any of us could get dealt a shitty card and end up on the streets, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's one way of looking at it. But this town, there's a lot of people that just judge because you smoke pot. You know, they look down at you because you're a pothead.
So how do people treat you when they see that you're homeless?
Some actually ask me my situation like you do. I've told my story. I'm like an open book. I've told my story to people. Lots of people that hear my story don't make it past the age of 10, and they can't listen to it anymore because it's been nonstop hell. I do believe that I'm here to go through every type of pain there is, so that when I do finally go up to heaven this time, because I have lived past lives and I've experienced the deaths and things like that, and I'm a vivid believer in reincarnation and things like that. But my purpose this time is to go through as much pain as humanly possible, tortures and things like that, because I'm the one that's going to decide if we should have ever existed or not to begin with. And that's a hard belief because I am a religious person, but I'm Christian, is what I decided to choose for my religion.
Mm-hmm.
But I was originally baptized Catholic because of my grandmother, hardcore Catholic.
Me too.
I've experienced a lot of different religions, from Jehovah's Witness to Islamic and things like that. So, it's hard. But I've actually, like I said, if I were to choose any other religion, it would be Pentecostal, because those guys know how to party and stand up and sing. They to them every day is a revival, right? And I think that's cool that somebody will stand up in the aisle and just get up and start singing their heart out and clapping and dancing and praising Jesus. And,
What is something you wish people would understand about addiction and homelessness?
Well, that they go hand in hand. That they're basically, one can't go without the other, right? Even people that live in homes have addiction problems. Most people actually suffer from addiction and they don't realize it. Even people that have homes and they have jobs and lives, they're just, some people drink to get rid of the whatever, and then they go home to work the next day, and they come home and they have a couple of beers or whatever else. That's an addict. If you do something every day repeatedly, even if it's a couple of beers each day, that's still addict.
It could
That's
be
an
shopping
alcoholic.
addiction. It could be
That's a functional
gambling.
addict.
It could be tobacco, man. All liquor,
Sex, or
sex,
porn,
everything.
Anything.
The gym.
Food.
Yeah.
There's addicts to everything, right? And some of it's tolerated because it's legal, but you know what?
The other ones are stigmatized,
Yeah,
right?
it's all addiction. It's still the same. Humans are naturally born addicts.
I agree with you.
We trade one addiction for another, So if I were to stop smoking dope, I'd probably be more into sexual activity or food or